It's time for the book interview.
Boring books, that's all.
Books? Are you nuts?
No, nothing boring here. Money Life will bring you a book that is out right now. A book that will help you learn more about your finances.
A book that would make Ulysses look like it was written in crayon.
Smart books by smart authors that can help you decide how to best manage your money.
It's not a book. It's a weapon.
It's a weapon against making the kind of mistakes that people make in their financial lives. Money Life brings you the books, the authors, and the information to protect you from these missteps and help to keep your financial future secure.
I read your book. I liked it very, very much.
Don't just take it on faith. Hear the authors talk in depth about their books and give you the facts and figures to back up their information.
It's faith. It's the flower of light in the field of darkness. It's giving me the strength to carry on. You understand?
Is that from your book?
No, it's Johnny Cash, live at Folsom Prison.
It's book interview time on Money Life today, and I'm very happy to be joined right now by Dan Simon. Daniel P. Simon is the author of The Money Hackers, How a Group of Misfits Took on Wall Street and Changed Finance Forever. It is a really good read. If you're a money geek, which obviously I am, but which some of you are because, well, hey, you're listening to an hour of talk a day. This is a really cool book because it really talks about fintech, which is financial technology and all of the things that have led to us being able to say, hey, send me that by Venmo or whatever, right? And I'm not the most into the fintech stuff, but I find it fascinating how people use it, incorporate it, and much more. And this book goes not only into what has happened and how it happened, but also what the next disruptive technology is going to be when it comes to fintech. If you want to learn more, and again, it's The Money Hackers. All you need to know is Dan's name, Daniel P. Simon, because it's danielpsimon.com, on Twitter at Daniel P. Simon. On Money Life right now, Dan Simon, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
The interesting thing is this book could not have been timed better from the standpoint that for all of the shelter at home stuff, I think money is forever changed. I'm somebody who actually still likes using cash. In fact, I had done things this year to kind of save more cash and say, hey, I'm not going to spend any change under a $10 bill. And then shelter at home started, and it's like, well, yeah, nobody wants me to spend any cash anyway. They don't even want me to hand them money because of everything that's going on.
Cash is very dirty.
Yeah.
They found white rhino DNA and trace amounts of cocaine on almost every bill. Cash is super dirty.
Yeah, but it's not about hygiene, or at least it hasn't been till now, that has everybody saying how much they want to change absolutely everything. So which developments are the most interesting and the most surprising? Because there are so many things that the book covers that I'm curious, What's your favorite fintech development?
Well, I think one of the most interesting things is a little bit about what you're talking about, Chuck, which is the absence of payments, right? Have you noticed that your experience of paying for things, people love buying things, but they hate paying for things, right? So you used to get in a cab, and you remember when they first introduced credit card machines in the back of yellow taxis or even black cars in the UK, and they would say, what, you don't have cash? And then you'd end up having this long argument with the driver about whether you were going to pay them by card or by cash. And now, of course, with Uber, with Lyft, with ride hailing, that payment experience is just completely taken away. You get in, you get out. Same when I ordered, a coffee in the morning, it's there, it's waiting for me. I tap the app, whether I go to Starbucks or Dunkin', I tap the app and there's my coffee. So in many ways, the most interesting thing happening with our money is its disappearance. The experience of payment is going away. And ultimately, that's a trend, as you said, that's going to continue, that's just expedited by this whole stay-at-home quarantine situation we're in right now. Yes, cash is dirty, but that's not, as you're saying, the only reason it's going away. It's going away because, frankly, the payment experience is filled with friction and kind of frustrating. And we talk about lots of different developments in the book, lots of different technologies and people that bring that technology to life. But I think overall the most interesting thing is that the payment experience, the experience of having to pay for things, get your wallet out for anything is going away.
Well, but in the days of your cabbie being unhappy with you, or even in the days when you were really asked cash or credit when you were leaving someplace, the friction there was that the retailer was, not real happy that you were using credit because they were going to wind up paying a fee. Even today, when they say credit or debit, they wish you would say debit, but we've just become, I guess, we just don't care anymore that somebody's paying, and somewhere our prices are going up because of this. And that's been, I guess, it's that, I think, that in many respects has driven a lot of the change in your book, is that you talk about, is that people kind of said, yeah, okay, well, we're just paying for this. It's now just built into the cost of doing transactions, right?
It is, and that seamlessness will actually benefit the end vendor, right? Ultimately, whether it's cash, credit, or debit, ultimately, the more frictionless it is, the more people buy stuff. That's just a fact. The easier it is to buy something, the more of it you sell. So, the trade-off is that whatever the vendor loses out in a transaction fee, they ultimately make up many times over in it just being seamless. I mean, when I used to have to stop into Starbucks and wait in the line and, swipe a card to get my coffee, maybe I do that 2 times a week before the quarantine. But by the end, before we were all sheltering in place, that would be my morning routine. Open the app, press a button. There's my coffee waiting for me, right? So that went from 2 days to 5 days a week. So when we make the payment experience frictionless, more people buy more things.
But frictionless, as somebody who's on the other side of this, I'm not, I'm trying to tell people, hey, save your money, invest your money, find other ways. Friction to me, when it helps me save, when it slows me down, when it makes me think, friction is good.
Yeah, you're the mindset of the guy. I had a friend who would take his credit card and then freeze it in a block of ice.
I've told people to do it.
To think about, really, he has to chisel into the ice and think about whether he wants to do it. What I would say to that is, right, God never, closes a door without opening a window. The problems that technology creates, if you're trying to get people to save, technology also solves, right? So yes, it's made it easier for me to look at nonsense things on Instagram and just buy them at 2:00 in the morning, because now I've got QVC via my Instagram, right? So I just see stuff and I'm like, God, I got to have that. So yes, perhaps it's leading to more frivolous purchases. At the same time, and we talk about this in the book, there are also great what are called PFM apps, right? Personal financial management apps, to help you better see how you're spending your money. There are great savings apps like Stash and Digit that don't even ask your permission before they take the money. They say, okay, looking at the way your spending patterns, looking at how you are using money, now is a good time for me to take 50 cents out of your account and stick it into your savings account. You didn't even notice it. So you were saving seamlessly. So I think, and there's also apps like Acorns that take that money and then put it into investments. So I think for every problem that technology creates with that frictionless, yes, it's making it easier for people to spend money. Technology is also presenting a range of solutions to help people better manage their money. And that's really the theme at the heart of the book, which is finance kind of only ever worked for the very richest people. And the technology, it's really not about the technology. It's about the mindset of these people in the book, these money hackers. It's about trying to make finance work for regular people.
Well, and it does. We need to go back and make sure that we give a public service announcement. Folks, if you decide to put your credit card in ice, remember, you cannot microwave it to get it out, because that will ruin your credit card. That's one. Two.
If you take anything away from my book, let it be that.
Well, two is that when we talk about things like Acorns, I mean, I love Acorns, and yet I also see Acorns being misused as well, because, for example, my daughter used Acorns, was impressed with how quickly she saved, however, then wound up liquidating the money. Why? Because she should not have been investing in a long-term investment vehicle. That was not going to be right. And I think Acorns, it'll be interesting to see the experience of Acorns after the market tanked and then rebounded, because, of course, you're getting a market return.
Well, But you could also, set that to go into Treasury bills, or you could use an app like Stash or Digit. I use Digit that simply puts it in cash. I mean, happens to take it and put it somewhere in an investment.
No, but that's the thing. And the book talks about it, but it's the important thing that people need to take away. That's what I was driving at, is that you have to match it. As much as you think, oh, this is easy, I do this and it saves, or I watch the commercials and it tells me this will save for you. You actually want to make sure to get the most out of the money hack. The idea is, put it in the right place. Get the money going to where it's most going to help you and your situation. Because my kid should have been putting it into cash where I would have been putting it into the market.
Correct.
Difference
and
in what
I think,
the need
look,
is.
the reality is, of course, there's a base level of financial literacy that has to accompany this. But the point is, until this technology came along, in the financial industry, it was pure engineered complexity, right? Did your daughter understand APR or credit card rates? And the information asymmetry worked against the consumer, right? At least the technology is presenting you with options. And frankly, it's making your choice. Do you want to be in cash? It looks like this. Do you want to be in equities? It looks like this. Do you want to be in bonds? It looks like this. It makes that easier than ever for consumers. And that's the idea at the heart of the book, is that technology is democratizing finance, democratizing access to finance, and making it easier than ever to help consumers make smart decisions about their money. John Stein, who's the creator of Betterment, who's a chapter in the book, so in many ways sort of one of the godfathers of robo-investing, said to me once when I was interviewing him, he said, financial literacy is BS. It's all a matter of user design. And I think that's a really important message. I'm lead the communications board at the Museum of American Finance. And at the museum, we always say, if we can just get people to learn compound interest. But we've been trying to do it for 100 years. And financial literacy, in this kind of didactic way of trying to sit people down at a chair and say, learn about how compounding interest works, learn about the difference between stocks and bonds. It hasn't achieved results in that way for 100 years. But if you give people an app, and it's literally a swipe right, swipe left. Do you want to be in cash? Do you want to be in? This is what happens if you do this. Use technology to show them projections, use technology to show them different scenarios. You can actually, they don't have to be a financial wizard to be financially smart.
They don't. It's exactly why FinTech is working. It's really well drawn out in the book. And let me tell you, as somebody who has always fashioned myself as something of a Luddite, I am a lot more inclined to go the FinTech route than I ever have been, in large measure because of a lot of the stuff that I saw in the Money Hackers. And that's without even getting to ask you about Bitcoin and whether Amazon gift cards could be their own currency and a whole bunch of other stuff. Dan, this has been great. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck with the book, and we look forward to chatting with you again down the line.
Thank you. So great to be on the show.
The book is The Money Hackers. And yeah, it's out now. It's how a group of misfits took on Wall Street and changed finance forever. And his point about financial literacy, remember, this is Financial Literacy Month. And no, we don't celebrate it here on Money Life. You want to be financially literate, you got to go out and do this. That's what the book will help you do. Go to danielpsimon.com for more information. He's on Twitter at Daniel P. Simon.